I love this music. Thank you, guys. Thank you, control room. You guys are amazing. Love this music. Sorry, I'm just gonna listen to it. That's West Palm Beach, by the way. It's a Friday, TGIF. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm David Brody. All right, we turn now to the president and international commerce. Trump didn't just use tariffs to fix trade. He also used them to protect America, to squeeze our enemies, and, of course, secure our border. Now the Supreme Court is stepping in, asking if he ever had that power in the first place. They're skeptical, by the way, not good for the Trump administration. They're looking at a 1977 emergency law that Trump used to justify the move on tariffs. Critics say that law was never meant to give a president this much control. Well, join us now to break it all down is retired Navy captain, California State Senate candidate as well, Armen Kurdian. Armen, good to have you here on the West Coast. So, look, if the court takes that power away, you wonder what it means for national security for the next president. I know they're looking at this as the Supreme Court is saying basically that a tariff is a tax. And so I have a feeling they're going to strike this down or at least curtail it a little bit. What's your take? Good morning to you.
Good morning, David, Dr. Gina, and Terrence. So the tariff situation in China is less predictable than the weather. In fact, the Prime Minister gets an hour brief every day, much like a weather forecast about what tariffs might or may not be over the next few days. Look, the International Economic Powers Act is there for a reason, and it's been law for nearly 50 years. So they're not going to strike it down. I think what they're going to do is they're going to strike a balance, and it's probably going to be the right one. When it comes to an emergency response, when it comes to say somebody who's acting very badly, or there is a serious national security issue, I think the president is going to still have that power to impose a tariff as a punitive measure. Now, when it comes to simple economic or trade policies, I think they're going to be a lot more narrow-minded. And frankly, I think that's probably the right rule because it is, in essence, a tax. It is costing money, whether it's an American company, whoever is actually going to impose it. It does preserve congressional authority, but the court, I think, should, and rightly so, preserve the president's ability to impose a tariff if there is a serious situation or to compel a type of behavior. Like you said, look, India and Pakistan, if you guys don't come to the table, then I'm going to impose a 100% tariff. You're not going to be able to put your goods into the U.S. and say, oh, okay, well, let's come to the table. And I think they're going to be able to prove that just based on the outcomes that he has received by doing that.
Armen, during his recent trip to Asia, I guess it was last week, President Trump announced that he was going to instruct the Department of War to begin nuclear testing again, not to be outdone. Vladimir Putin coming out now saying that he also wants to restart nuclear testing. What should we read into this? And should we begin to get concerned about this kind of nuclear back and forth, if you will?
I think you're going to find that those who are probably least desirous, besides the environmentalists, of restarting U.S. nuclear testing might be the actual folks who actually design our weapons to begin with. These weapons are tested on a regular basis without any fissionable material. Just by looking at the math and very, very heavy detailed analysis and data extraction, they can determine that the explosions of the conventional munitions that essentially set off the nuclear reaction, if they're exploding in the right way, if the pressures are going in the right way, because they know that, by math, if they get certain pressures in a correct way, then it causes the uranium to fuse or plutonium to fuse, which then continues on with the chain reaction. And in that sense, we have a major advantage over countries around the rest of the world. So while I understand the president's position and that, you saw India and Pakistan do a nuclear test in response to each other, about 20 years ago or so, the North Koreans are doing it as well. I would be careful about actually doing this because it's entirely possible that our adversaries may actually benefit more from their nuclear testing than our own.
Armen, you're running for state senate in, of all places, California. Not exactly easy territory for a conservative. What made you say I'm in?
It's really, really simple. And this is a lesson that should be learned by some of the races that we saw out east where Republicans did very poorly on Tuesday. It's all about the kitchen table. It always comes down to, can I put food on the table? Can I put gas in my car? Do I have a regular job? Now, if I go out and say, California has the highest unemployment rate in the nation and 1.5 million people leaving the state, those are true facts. But how do you relate it to an individual? It says, look, your gas is $1 higher than it needs to be. And that's food that you're not able to buy. And look, we've driven refiners out of the state. You can't fill up your car. Your rent is too high because you got 3 generations of people living there. We don't have enough housing. It's too expensive to build. You've got to bring it down to something that they can understand. And when Trump won in 16 and again in 24, he was very clear about that kind of message. And Republicans all over the country, doesn't matter what level you're running at. If you can't make that kind of connection to folks, that's what needs to happen. And frankly, for me, it matters because I care about helping people. It's comes back to my time in the Navy. I love solving the big problems. I love bringing people together and doing something for the common good. That's what gets me up in the morning. And there is a tremendous amount of grassroots support for my campaign. I've been all over the place. I got another event tonight, another one tomorrow night. So a lot of folks are very, very excited about this campaign. And it certainly is not necessarily going to be easy, but it is doable. And you got to show folks that there is a path forward and that we can get Republicans to get out and win with the right message and with the right type of campaign. Because remember, elections are less about issues in this state, a lot of ways, than they are the marketing or how you express those issues and you connect with voters. And that's what we're going to do.
No doubt about it. Armin, Curtin, great to have you. Good luck out there, by the way. Say hi to Gavin Newsom for us. Actually, don't do that. But thank you for being here.
He'll be gone by the time I get up there, so we'll see what happens.
That's right. Yeah. There's a run on hairspray because of him. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Armin.
Have a good one.
Coming up, the Trump administration announces a new deal that's actually going to lower prices on those popular GLP-1 drugs for weight loss. I'm sorry, did someone say weight loss? I'm listening. I hope you will too. Details when we come back, everybody.